Good afternoon, community, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'd like to thank you for inviting me to speak here on our police chief's retirement ceremony. Otherwise, and better known to me as my father, Russell McLeod. Back when he was elected as police chief, our community was due for a change, more positive change, and I believe that he most certainly brought this to our community. Hired on as a police officer in 1974, making police sergeant by 1980, and then elected as chief in 1990. I believe this man has brought great credit to our police department, our community. He's brought loyalty, community service, integrity. More importantly, he's brought a great name to our police department. I hear this all the time when I was home on military leave. My interactions with the community, the local business owners, and just people walking down the street. They always had a great story to tell about my father. I'd see old friends, I'd meet new people, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're Chief McLeod's son. Oh, he's a great guy. He's always laughing, he's smiling. He's a good man. I really like this guy. Yes, he's good." And they'd share a story with me, and to be honest with you, I've heard so many stories, I just can't possibly recount every single one of them, but everybody I've met has always had a positive story about him. But one of the most important things I say about him is that he's a human being. He's approachable. I guess that's one of the best words I hear about him is he's approachable, and that gives me a good feeling because people aren't afraid to come talk to our police officers, whether you be a chief or whether you be a patrolman or whether you be a police sergeant. Our police department is now approachable, whereas in the past, I haven't heard such good stories about it. He's always been an honesty first. He's taught me that growing up as his son. You can deal with honesty. One of the best stories he's ever told me was he had somebody pulled over that ran through a stoplight. And he had him pulled over, and it was a lady, and he said that he pulled her over, and she said the light turned yellow and then red while she was going through, and she didn't know whether to stop or go, so she just kept going. And he had said, so he went ahead and he did not write her a ticket. He let her go. He says, because you can always deal with somebody that's honest. It's the dishonest people that you can't deal with. And that's one thing I've constantly heard about him is you can deal with Chief McLeod. You can deal with our police force now. And that's a positive thing I think that he's brought to our police department. And that just serves credit to him and all of the other police officers that are under his mentorship. That was a great thing that he's brought to us. I think that's great. And everybody else can learn from him, and those officers that he's trained can now teach that to the officers that they go ahead and train as well. Several people have asked me, whether or not he's going to run for mayor, and he's mentioned that people have asked him to run for mayor should he ever decide to retire as a police officer, which again is another credit to him and what he can do and the way people view him in our police department now. And his sense of humor, again, is something else that people always talk about. He's always laughing. He's always smiling. Another positive he's brought to our police department is that they're not always serious. They're not always the mean people. More positive influences he's brought, and another great choice that our community's made by electing him. And in closing, I'd like to share one story just to show how far his sense of humor goes and how he does deal with people on a positive note sometimes. I don't know if this is the best story, but it's one of the funniest ones I've ever heard. I don't know how many people know Teddy. And for those of you in the community that don't know Teddy, Teddy is one of our older friends. He's probably in his late 70s, but my dad was recounting a story, and I'm not sure when this happened. I'm going to guess it was back in the 70s, but we were all having a 4th of July picnic at my grandparents' house, and Teddy was there, and my dad's sharing the story, and he's like, I guess my dad was directing traffic, and he had said, Teddy, he goes, I don't mind if you wave to me when you're driving past while I'm directing traffic. He goes, but would you please do me a favor? He goes, when you wave at me, he goes, could you please not do it with the hand that's holding your beer? So anyway, thank you all for showing up. Have a great day.